guys, it's Christina of CraftyPaws. I am so super excited because I am a guest designer for the month of September for MarkerPOP.com. I was so thrilled, just beside myself, when they asked if I wanted to be a guest designer for them because I think MarkerPOP is such a fantastic store. They have all the latest and greatest supplies in crafting, and they always run really great discounts and specials. So today I'm making this little scene card using the WPlus9 Going Places set. I think it is so stinking cute. They have this cute hot air balloon, all these great little critters, and fantastic sentiments. I also picked up at MarkerPOP this La La Land Crafts stitched cloud border die, and it has two different stitched cloud dies, so you can alternate them and mix them up so that you get a really realistic, I mean cartoony, right? But realistic cloud formations. I hope you enjoy the process video that follows. Thanks for watching. So for my card background, I am going to use some distress inks, smush those out onto a craft mat, and use some 140-pound Strathmore watercolor paper to create kind of a stormy sky background. So the colors of distress ink that I'm using are Tumbled Glass, Salty Ocean, and Chipped Sapphire. And I'm brushing on just plain water onto the card panel, and I am spraying the smooshed out ink with just some water. When I turn over the wet watercolor paper onto the ink, it comes out with really unique impressions. Now I'm going to take my heat tool and dry this first layer of ink. As you can see, once dried, the ink actually lightens up quite a bit. Here I'm doing a second impression of the inks, and I love that kind of mottled look that that creates. And I'm taking my heat tool to this panel again. I'm also drying the back side so that the panel doesn't curl up too much. Now I'm spritzing on some plain water over top, and that actually bleaches out some of the color. I'm dabbing it up with a Kleenex, and I do this a couple of times to lighten up the panel a bit. I've die cut these clouds with polka dot vellum, which I thought was so fun, and also a shimmery white cardstock. I'm using art glitter glue to adhere the vellum pieces, and double-sided foam adhesive to pop up the shimmery white cardstock clouds. I think that adds a fun dimension, and it also helps cover up some of the adhesive. Even though that dries clear, you can kind of see it along the edges. I'm just cutting off the excess from those clouds that hangs over the card panel, and I'm doing this both at the top and the bottom so that there will be clouds all around the little critters in their hot air balloon. You might be wondering why I'm creating kind of a stormy, cloudy sky, and that's because the sentiment that I want to use says, "You make every day an adventure." And I thought, you know, what's more adventurous than hot air ballooning in kind of a less than perfect sky? This is going to be another card for my hubby for our anniversary, so I wanted to kind of express how, you know, life is not full of sunshine all the time, and I really enjoy the adventure of our life together. And I decided to do one more layer of the polka dot vellum clouds. So I have 3 layers on the top and on the bottom. To prep my black cardstock, I'm using my EK Tools powder tool to take the static off. Then I'm using some VersaFine ink and stamping out the sentiment from the stamp set that says, "You make every day an adventure." Here I'm using some white embossing powder by Recollections, and notwithstanding the powder tool, I do have some stray marks there. You see that I've stamped out different sentiments a few times just to see which one comes out the cleanest. I'm picking up all of the excess embossing powder that I had collected in a coffee filter. Here I'm finally heat embossing the sentiment. Now for the stamping. I'm using Memento Tuxedo Black ink and stamping out the little waving teddy bear on a Post-it note. That's going to be my mask. Then I stamp the teddy bear onto my white cardstock, and here I'm fussy cutting out the mask. putting the Post-it mask on top of the stamped image so I can stamp the hot air balloon, including the basket, around that little teddy bear. And I did that because I wanted the little teddy bear's front arm to hang over the front of the basket. I'm taking a Copic multi-liner pen and drawing in the top of that basket. And I did the same thing with the bunny. The Copic coloring on these really clean and simple images is really easy. For the pink part of the balloon, I used RV 21, 23, and 25. And it's really easy just going back and forth, laying down the lightest color first, then the medium tone, putting in the darkest RV 25, and I'm just doing light little brush strokes. And I'm making sure that under the banner section I am putting in a shadow. And then next I'll be going back to the medium, the RV23, and blending that together. I'm trying to keep the center area as light as possible because I figure that's where the highlight would be if the light was coming from the front. The side panels of the hot air balloon I'm coloring with B000, B01, and B04. And I go through the same process again. Where the seams are, it's going to be a little bit darker. So I'm first laying down the lightest color, then the medium, then the darkest. And I'm just going back and forth to blend the areas together so there are no harsh lines. That's the best thing about alcohol markers. They really do blend so well together. Now for the banners and the basket, I decided to use a kind of yellow-orange color and the same kind of tone as the pink and the blue, so that you kind of get a version of the primary colors, red, yellow, and blue, but in kind of this secondary hue. And oh, here I'm coloring up the bunny, and I'm just trying to make it look like it's a white bunny with some shadowing with W1 and W3. And again, so that I don't get any harsh lines, I don't have anything to go down from W1, so I use a 0, the colorless blender, just to soften up the edges. I'm using W3, a slightly darker warm gray, where the ear flops over and where the little bunny's chest meets up against the basket. Now when I drew in the top line of that basket under the bunny, the line that I drew was so dark that I decided I was going to make that look more intentional. So I'm taking a ruler and my Copic multi-liner pen, and I'm drawing in stripes onto that basket. Now for the basket, I decided to repeat the colors of the banner down below, and so I'm using Y35 and Y38. And when I finish with that, I think I need some more pattern up on the upper part of this image, so I decided to take my Copic multi-liner pen and just draw in some polka dots onto those banners, and I think that came out really cute. Now because I don't have the coordinating die set for this, I decided I was going to just fussy cut out the balloons and then use an X-Acto knife to cut away the inside area underneath the balloon and between the little lines and the bunny rabbit. And it takes a little time, but if you're just careful, it's not difficult at all. I do make a mistake. I tear the edge there. I don't know if you spotted that, but that's not detrimental really, because all you have to do is glue that together. You can see that's where there was a little tear. I'm thickening up the lines with a Faber Castell marker, and I'm edging all around this cutout image. Oh, there you see me doing the repair with the glue. And to give it some dimension, I am popping the whole image up on foam adhesive. Place that between the two areas with the clouds above and the clouds below. Now I did the same thing for the little teddy bear in his hot air balloon, but I edited out all of that coloring and fussy cutting, and I just wanted to show you that I'm putting foam adhesive on the bottom part of this, so the teddy bear and the basket, but I'm using a regular glue runner tape on top of the balloon because I'm going to layer that on top of the clouds that are already popped up. Now for the sentiment, I am just cutting out a little fishtail for the banner, and I'm popping that up on foam adhesive as well. Now I'm using a glue runner tape to adhere that card front onto a black cardstock card base. And to add some shimmer and shine, I am using Wink of Stella on all the kind of shadowed areas of these images. To add a little pattern to the teddy bear's hot air balloon, I decided I was going to use a white jelly roll pen and just draw in some little X's with dots at the ends. I like how it adds some brightness to that hot air balloon on the right and also adds some pattern, since the one on the left had those little polka dots and stripes. If you enjoyed this process video, please give it a thumbs up. Thanks so much for watching, and if you're interested in this super cute WPlus9 stamp set called Going Places, or the La La Land stitched cloud border dies, please check out MarkerPOP.com.